Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take the love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me and my co-host, Joseph.
Hello.
And Jehu.
Oh, it was way too far off.
Yeah, very far away.
You sounded like someone's holding you hostage, and that was your safe word from
your
the
plea
the
for help. Yeah.
That's actually what's happening. One of you all need to get here immediately.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, bro.
I know you're in Cantonment. It's kind of a drive.
We're here to do something we haven't done in a while. A Hidden Gems episode. Specifically, we're picking Hidden Gems of 2001.
It's a year that I always think of as, I know technically I feel like 2000 is the beginning of the millennium, but in my mind I feel like 2001 is a better representation of that. Though having looked at the things that made it on this list, I'm not sure that I can stand by that anymore.
I think you're actually incorrect about that. I think 2001 is the technical beginning of the millennium. I think the last year of the decade is the 0 year, but no one counts that. Like populace size, 2020 was the start of the 2020s, not 2021.
Right.
But
I think you are technically correct, Christian, but nobody gives a shit about it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The thing I noticed about this year is and I think we had another year we did that was kind of like this, where a lot of the movies that seemed like they would have been sort of on hidden gem lists actually just became big hits that everyone know about.
That was definitely my issue in coming up with my list also.
And almost like there's some ones that I think were like big studio vehicles for big stars that kind of aren't remembered at all. So it's kind of an ass backwards year almost.
Do you guys want to hear what the top 10 grossing movies in 2001 are?
Sure.
Do it.
Do you want to take a guess on anything that might make it?
Was there a Star Wars movie this year?
No Star Wars movie.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is number 10. Amazingly.
You read a different list than I did.
It was in year gross. I don't know.
Because the one I read had Lord of the Rings at number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, I just pulled it up as well. It also has it at number 2.
Well, you know what? I don't know.
Because number 10 actually made my list, but we'll get to that later.
Ugh, number 10 sucks.
See, I don't agree.
I'm going to read my list, Joseph, because
I don't trust my list anymore.
Yeah, the number 1, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Number 2, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Number 3, Monsters, Inc. Number 4, Shrek. 5, Ocean's 11. 6, Pearl Harbor. 7, The Mummy Returns. 8, Jurassic Park 3. 9, Planet of the Apes. 10, Hannibal.
Okay, no, my number 9 was the one that's on my list, which I'm sure you'll also think is terrible.
No, I can agree with 9. I hate Hannibal, though.
I'm not a big fan of Hannibal either.
That movie is such a disappointment.
Yeah, totally.
Did Hannibal come before or after Red Dragon?
It came before.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird to make a good movie and then a bad movie and then a good prequel.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I think Red Dragon. This is off topic, but yeah, I mean,
look, it's not better than fucking Silence of the Lambs, but it's better than Hannibal.
That's true. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm not sure that it's good, but it's better than the one that came right before it.
Yeah,
I think Ed Norton is good in it, and I think that Ray Fine fucking goes for it in that, and I really like, God, why can't I think of his name now? Died of heroin.
That's so many people.
But he didn't look like it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, there you go. Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think also he was pretty good in his final scene in that movie, but I don't know if I think it's a good movie either.
Yeah. So back to 2001. Those were the highest grossing films.
There were some other notable ones that I don't think qualify for this list because they've just made a shit ton of money, but maybe you guys had them on your list anyway. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Spy Kids, The Princess Diaries.
2001?
Apparently. The Princess Diaries and Legally Blonde. Also, the one of the most infamous Oscar winners of all time, Traffic.
I'm really surprised Legally Blonde isn't top 10. That shit was huge.
It's still very popular too.
Yeah.
It made a lot of money. Well, and that's the other thing that I noticed that we'll get into as we dig into them. This 2001 was a big year for cable television because a lot of the things on here made a reasonable amount of money. There weren't really many that I'd call like really, deep cuts here. But like they did okay in the box office, and then they were played almost every day for 10 years after that on television.
Right.
Yeah. So how are we doing this? Are we going to go down a list? Are we just going to pick a
Popcorning's
couple?
fine. Whatever you guys got. I got an extensive thing, and whatever you guys don't cover, I might cover.
Well, I'm going to start with one of my favorite, I don't know the correct term, science fiction comedies, Evolution.
Yeah. and that's the other thing that I wanted to mention about this list is a lot of the things that are gems in here. I don't know if they're gems, and Evolution was one of the ones that was on my list.
Right.
I have no idea if this movie is good. In fact, I actually do have an idea. It's not good.
I'm pretty sure it's not good.
I like it. Okay. And there's a lot to like about it. And it's got this weird cast of people that you enjoy seeing on screen, but I don't know that they've ever...
very, very of the times cast also.
Yes.
David Duchovny is the lead.
Julianne Moore.
Orlando Jones. Ethan Suplee's in it somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know if any of them actually deserve for you to like them being on screen, but you do. You just like those people. And I think it's a fun plot directed by Ivan Reitman, right? He apparently thought it was going to be like his next Ghostbusters, and it's not that.
It's not. But you know what? I see where he's getting at. It's got similar vibes.
Dan Aykroyd is in it, and I think he also produced it with him because they felt it was very much in the same vein as Ghostbusters.
I can't remember it exactly, but I know this movie has one of my favorite fan servicey jokes in it, which is essentially when the creepy, mysterious government agent shows up. David Duchovny's like, "Oh man, I know these guys," and for some reason that shit killed me at the time.
Yeah, that's a good play. I also think the overall creature design in this movie is pretty
Very
good.
good. Yeah. Especially considering the whole thing is they like the creatures change, like every 5 minutes of the movie to something new. And so they had a lot of cool, different ideas for it's kind of close to how we evolved, but in an alien way. And they look pretty good.
Yeah. So that's my first one.
One of the ones that I'm only going to say barely qualifies on this list because it made a reasonable amount of money, but I just don't think is remembered as well as it should be, is I think the forgotten Disney movie Atlantis.
Oh yeah, great film.
Atlantis is a really good call. That was on my list as well.
Oh, good. It's one of those movies where I get it. I think comparatively to even ones that were I think closer in time to its release, like a Hercules or something, or even a Tarzan. I don't think it's quite as iconic as those, and it may not deserve to be. But I also think it's pretty darn good. It's got a lot of goofy jokes in it, but it's also got a more a darker tone overall than I feel like a lot of these movies take.
Yeah, no, it's adult is a weird word because I don't think it's necessarily adult. I also don't think that 7-year-olds really get it.
Yeah, well,
right.
There's 2 dedicated characters for kid jokes in this movie, but the rest of the movie doesn't feel that kid directed to me.
Yeah.
But it looks great. I think it's a pretty good movie. It holds up. I hope more people have seen it now that they have Disney Plus available to them and just want to watch new things.
Michael J. Fox is Milo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything with Michael J. Fox, you should fucking watch it. It's mandatory. The guy's a national treasure. You have to watch that movie. Kurt, you got one? Or
it was, and like I said, it was hard to kind of find ones that I really felt like counted as hidden gems, because this is a year where Memento and Donnie Darko and Royal Tenenbaums and Ghost World were big hits.
It's funny you bring that up because the other thing I was going to say about this year is it's the year made for cable television, and it's also the year made for that guy you don't want to talk to at a party, and that person is also me. Which you've mentioned at least 2 of those or 3 of those in that list, but there's more that I have that I want to mention. But go ahead.
I think I think there's an argument for this, even though it is definitely technically in the new millennium, this being the last year of the 90s, because just a lot of those movies are like 90s movies that came out in the 2000s. So, but one that I think made the list. Are you guys familiar with the movie called Made? Have you ever watched Made?
I have not.
Nope.
Okay. Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn had a big hit a few years earlier with Swingers, which, was a, movie about them hanging out in sort of the 90s retro swing dancing scene. And it was fucking great. Me and my friends loved it at the time. We all bought Sega hockey games to be like those dudes when we were hanging out. It was gross. And, specifically Vince Vaughn was just a show stealer or scene stealer in that movie. He's this kind of over the top ladies man friend and stuff. And then Made came out, which was sort of their follow-up. It was the same two guys, but the premise of this was they were a couple low-level, like criminal types who were trying to make it in the mob, who were trying to get made. And they almost play like the same characters, but Vince Vaughn is played as such a dunce in it. And at the time, I just hated it, did not like it. But I watched it a few years ago again, and you realize that, like the Vince Vaughn character in Swingers is pretty interesting when you're young, but when you're older, you realize in real life that guy's fucking exhausting. And this treatment of him was just hilarious when I watched it again. So anybody who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. Made.
Truly a hidden gem when 2/3 of the podcast hadn't seen it.
Indeed.
True.
I'm going to go one that I think everyone thinks is bad, and I think it's bad too, but I still think it's a lot of fun to watch. The One, starring Jet
this
Li.
was a big year for Jet Li. He also had Kiss of the Dragon, which made $36 million. The One made a respectable 43 for, a kung fu movie.
Early Jason Statham career film. I think the plot is generally pretty cool, which is that if there's, a set number of dimensions, then if you kill all of your counterparts, you get all of their energy and you become essentially a super powered individual. And we're down to the final two versions of Jet Li. And what could be better than Jet Li fighting Jet Li with Jason Statham occasionally also fighting Jet Li? It's dumb. I think I might be wrong. I think this is a John Woo movie.
I don't think it is, but it looks so much like a John Woo movie.
I'm going to say whoever it is John Woo under a different name.
Right.
But I think this movie's a lot of fun. Again, it's dumb. The special effects don't really hold up, but
I don't know. I still think that the final confrontation, like whatever that is, like a fucking
in like
power plant or wherever, there's sparks everywhere.
There's so much electricity
it's cool
just in the background. I think this movie really kind of is a good cap on like bad 90s, late 90s, like action kung fu movies. It feels a lot like the movies that have come before it, but I think it's just kind of like the perfect version of it. And not like how The Matrix is the perfect version where it's actually good. This is the perfect version of the bad ones. I like The One. Check it out.
Is this the only movie that Jet Li and Jason Statham did together?
No. They made a
Expendables.
movie called, the Expendables. They also made a movie called War, where it's the two of them.
That's right. Yep.
Fighting each other.
Okay, that's probably the one, because one of these I saw like an advertisement on it. You know how like Roku will have those advertisements off to the side of where your channels are, and the description on it was literally Jet Li and Jason Statham are mad at each other, and I just thought that shit was hilarious.
That is funny. Just because I feel like it ties into your point, Christian. One of the ones that I don't think was financially successful and maybe slightly forgotten to this point, besides from the people on this podcast, is what I consider to be Guy Ritchie's best film, which is Snatch. Came out this year. It's the kind of loose sequel. I think it is a sequel. I think there are like crossover characters with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which is, kind of his breakout. But I feel like Snatch is better. It's got Brad Pitt in it, and he's ridiculous and fantastic as like this I don't know, gypsy boxer, bare knuckle boxer. It's it's the usual bunch of gangsters, bunch of unfortunate coincidences and encounters, and people fighting and shooting each other for seemingly no reason. It's very petty and very ridiculous, and I think it's probably my favorite Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, this movie is great.
I want to say it'd make my top 20. I love this movie.
Yeah. Also, it's a good reminder that there's never been a point in time where Brad Pitt hasn't been fucking cool. Like he's
that's true.
cool. Is this? I mean, I my only asterisk would this be? Is it a hidden gem or is it a cult film? Because I feel like it's got a pretty big following. Maybe not as much as Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I made a long list of ones that I thought should be that like in a different year would have been hidden gems but aren't, and this one's totally on it. Like, yeah, I feel like I don't know anyone who doesn't know about this movie.
Well, fair enough. Well, then I'll do my other one since you guys are disqualified.
I'm not trying to be negative. I just feel like this is a cult film.
My other one I had that was before this on my list is the movie Bandits.
See, I don't know what that movie is.
Do you guys not know this movie?
Give me the description because it sounds familiar.
It's Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, and Cate Blanchett.
Yes, I know this movie.
They're like it's a crime heist romantic comedy where I can't remember the initial thing, but I think Billy Bob Thornton and Bruce Willis are bank robbers. And at some point during a bank robbery, they take a hostage that they mean to let go, but they didn't mean to take a hostage, but they get stuck with her, and it's Cate Blanchett. And Billy Bob Thornton and Bruce Willis are your classic buddy comedy duo. One's like, I'm the cool guy who just like gets the job done, and the other guy's like, I think about all the things, and I'm the planner and the brains of the outfit kind of thing. And the premise of the movie is Cate Blanchett gets stuck with Bruce Willis for a long time while they're lying low, and then they swap and then stuck with Billy Bob Thornton for a long time while they're lying low, and then she falls in love with both of them at different times, and then it just becomes a ridiculous love triangle with bank robbery situation. It's pretty funny. I recommend it if you haven't seen it.
The main thing, and I haven't seen this in a long time, so I may be recollecting this wrong, but the main thing I remember about this movie is it being the beginning of Billy Bob Thornton's rugs and sort of the end of Bruce Willis's rugs. Like, this was the point where Billy Bob Thornton's like, I'm just going to wear a toupee forever. And Bruce Willis like, nah, fuck it. I'm not going to do that.
I mean, I do think that's accurate, at least in this movie. So I'm not sure that I knew that Billy Bob Thornton was bald.
I mean, go back and watch Sling Blade. He was like extra bald in that shit.
Yeah.
I feel like both of yours kind of lead into this one to me. And this is one that I'm talking about that I think this was designed to be just a huge hit and maybe even made a lot of money at the time, but I don't think anyone really remembers it. The Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
This
was absolutely supposed to be a huge hit.
Like, it's full of Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, James Gandolfini, like full of big stars. It was very much of its time in that it was kind of an action-y sort of Tarantino light-y comedy mixed in thing. And, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember it being fun. I remember enjoying it. And I don't know. I don't ever hear it come up with anyone anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember it being very good. Yes. Is why I didn't put it on my list.
I think you asking what it's about a pistol is exactly why this movie isn't remembered. Because I think a lot of people saw Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and the title Mexican and like, well, who's the fucking Mexican? And didn't watch it. But the Mexican was the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw this movie. I think even at like 13 years old, I was like, that looks stupid.
I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but it's a solid okay. And I just think it's weird that a movie with that many big stars in it is sort of forgotten.
Yeah, it didn't hit. And you're right, just kind of lost. That's perfect. That's perfect stream material that I don't know has ever been on a streaming service.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on Tubi. Everything's on Tubi.
Probably is on Tubi. I'm going to mix it up a little bit with my next one and go with a rom-com. And I've forgotten rom-com because at least it's the first one that I remember that had gay characters in it. And that's Kissing Jessica Stein. Have you guys ever seen this movie?
I've definitely seen this movie.
This is a pretty fun film. It's about a woman who kind of like down on her luck and her love life stalling. And I think it was like was really before the internet online dating thing. So I think it's like, if I remember correctly, like an ad in the paper, kind of like Escape. And she thinks it's a dude. Turns out it's a woman. And then she just starts dating that lady. And I don't think she ends up being a lesbian at the end of the film. Spoilers. But I really liked it. I think it's both leads are really good. I watched it several times. I haven't seen it in forever because I don't know where to find it. But if I could, I would watch it again. I don't know. I think it's just a really fun, lighthearted rom-com. Kissing Jessica Stein. Check it out.
Fair enough.
If you can find it.
Since we're on rom-coms, I didn't mention it because I don't think it qualifies in any way. But Miss Congeniality came out this year. $65 million. I don't feel like has represented the impact that's left on our culture.
No, that number does not match the footprint of that film.
Yeah.
We go like one more each or something, so we don't do this forever.
No, let's do it forever. The one I wanted to mention is I hope it counts. Now I'm worried that my things are too well known, but this is one that I know used to be on Comedy Central all the time, but I've never really talked to anyone about. Saving Silverman, a dumb stoner comedy. It's got Jason Biggs, Steve Zahn, Jack Black, the sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. The premise of the movie is Jason Biggs is getting married, and his two friends, Steve Zahn and Jack Black, don't like the girl he's marrying. I think she's like overly controlling or something, and so they hatch elaborate, terrible conspiracies and schemes to try and hook Jason Biggs back with his high school sweetheart, I guess.
I just want to say, did you refer to Arlie Ermy as the sergeant from Full Metal Jacket?
I did.
You totally beat me to saying that. I was waiting for him to take a break so I could be shitty about that.
You asshole. He deserves way more credit.
What else should I call him? By his actual
Arlie
name?
Ermy, his fucking name.
No, it's fine. People don't know what I'm talking about when I say that. They know what I mean when I say he's the guy from Full Metal Jacket. Anyway, this movie it's Jack Black and Steve Zahn, I feel like, in their prime, and Jason Biggs, and I don't know if he has a prime, but whatever.
This is definitely his prime.
Yeah, I guess. It's very funny. It's very dumb. I am slightly worried that if I rewatched it, parts of it would be canceled, because I'm pretty sure at some point Jack Black realizes in the middle of it he's gay. I don't know. It's a good movie.
I think you're right.
I recommend it though.
I think this definitely counts as a hidden gem. I think people who were the appropriate age to watch this movie in 2001 remember it and remember it well, but it hasn't stayed.
I can tell you not many people did watch it because it only made $19 million.
That's surprising. It must be Comedy Central rerun.
Yeah, here's some things that might surprise you that didn't make a lot of money. Jeepers Creepers came out this year, $37 million.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't surprise you. Memento didn't make a lot of money, $25 million. But a movie that I feel like, again, has a bigger cultural footprint than this, Joe Dirt made $27 million.
How much money did it take to make Joe Dirt? I feel like that's profitable for that film.
I mean, for sure it's profitable, but I've seen that movie at least 3 times.
I mean, definitely, if they get paid $5 every time it airs on Comedy Central, they're billionaires.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but yeah, that was on my list of ones that I didn't know whether this counts as hidden gem or not, because definitely everyone knows about it, but it doesn't seem like it was that big at the time.
Sure.
Hurry, you got another one?
Yeah, I had a few I wanted to mention, and then I'll talk about one last one. I said I was going to say Planet of the Apes, and I'm just going to say that movie's better than people remember it.
Absolutely.
It's like, and it's trying to make a different point, I think, than the old one was, and I think people just didn't get that and weren't ready for it. And the ending to it just kills me. I don't know if it's meant to be a joke, but I think it's hilarious. I was going to mention a movie called Bully. If you ever want to know what it's like to grow up in the Milton Pace area, but on 11, watch the movie Bully. But the one I'll talk about is The Man Who Wasn't There. It's a Coen Brothers movie from this, and I think it's like viewed as sort of a lower tier movie of theirs, but it seems like so many people say that their favorite Coen Brothers movie is No Country for Old Men, and They should probably check this movie out because it's the only one that equals No Country in bleakness. Like they have other crime dramas, but their other crime dramas sort of have positive characters and have some hopefulness in it. And this shit does not. But
this one's also Billy Bob, right?
The Billy Bob Thornton. Yes. He plays a barber who gets involved in a sort of Norrish crime scheme. But, it's it's good. I like it a lot. It's also in black and white, so it's interesting to look at from its time. But even a lower tier Coen Brothers movie is of course better than Transformers, so worth checking out.
Yeah, I like that movie. It is very bleak, but it's good. I guess if I had one more, I was also going to think about saying Planet of the Apes because I agree with you. I think it's underrated. The ending is bad, and that's what taints that whole movie. But overall, it's a pretty interesting version of that story. I also would say Josie and the Pussycats, though it's really grown in popularity since millennials got the right to vote. It's just really become much more popular. Right. So if I have to pick one that I don't think people really remember that I think is pretty good, Joyride, Paul Walker film, Steve Zahn, and I'm drawing a blank on the chick, but it's about three, I guess they're 20 somethings who get in a transistor radio fight with a trucker. And it's kind of a dumb plot of a slasher film that was very popular for that era, but I think it's a pretty good version of it. It's a lot of fun. It's, not great, but Friday night viewing with some popcorn and the lights out, you get a little creeped out by it. There's certainly worse movies in the same vein as this one, and this one's a pretty good version of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a fun little horror-y movie. It almost has like a Twilight Zone-y feel to it.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
I don't feel like I have any more that I would even consider gems at this point. I think there are way too many that are either too popular still or just bad. But that said, I'm just going to list off a couple of things that came out this year that I think are at least worth noting before we put this one to bed forever. First one is this year produced the one and only Final Fantasy movie, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yeah.
The two things three things I remember about this movie. Two things from the time were, even at the age, the ripe old age of 10, I remember there was a bunch of news scuttlebutt of is this what movies are going to be now?
Yep.
Which the success or lack thereof was, I think, a swift and decisive no to that question.
I think one thing I have to say on this is that any movie that you have to invent a term to rag on, I think has achieved something. I don't think the term Uncanny Valley existed before this movie.
At least it wasn't nearly as popular, for sure.
Right.
The other thing I remember about this is I'm pretty sure one of the character models is based on Ben Affleck, but they didn't actually get Ben Affleck for the role, and that is voiced by old Jack Donaghy. And that's just fucking hilarious to me. I guess that's exactly what the news media was afraid of would happen. Did kind of happen, but still didn't work out.
Right.
Some movies that oh, actually, one more thing because Hurt mentioned that he thought this was kind of the last movie of the 90s. Here's something that proves it's the last movie of the 90s. Did you guys know there was an Othello reimagining in this year?
Wasn't it with Lawrence Fishburne?
I don't think Lawrence Fishburne did it, but now I have to check. He's not the lead in it. It's
that's not the one I'm thinking.
It's like all 90s. It's a Shakespeare reimagining in a modern context. The two leads, the most time capsule-esque casting and concept for a thing. It's modern reimagining of Othello in a high school, starring Josh Hartnett and Julia Stiles.
Now I remember the one you're talking about. Now I'm thinking of a different Othello,
and directed by Tim Blake Nelson.
It's just called O.
Just called O.
Yeah.
But things in this year that made less than $15 million. Osmosis Jones, which I thought was kind of surprising, just because I remember watching that show as a kid, and I watched the movie in theaters. Bubble Boy, which was Jake Gyllenhaal's dramatic departure after doing Donnie Darko and October Sky.
Yeah,
but this one was on my list. This is the first time I actually remember Jake Gyllenhaal, and I thought this movie was hilarious. Yeah, I'd watched those other ones, but I didn't put them together as the same guy for some reason.
I mean, look, that's fair. It's a pretty different role.
Right.
Also, this year, making $3 million in theaters, but presumptively a lot more money from Comedy Central. Pootie Tang.
Pootie Tang was on my list too. I have a lot of dumb movies on my list.
Yeah, and capping out the list of 2001 movies of people that you don't want to talk to at parties, Mulholland Drive made $7 million.
Yeah, see, I mean, this one was one that I was like, I mean, this is probably the most successful David Lynch movie. So I'm almost like, is it a hidden gem? But really, every David Lynch movie, like most people haven't seen. So,
but that's it. What do you have any other ones you wanted to clear out before we get done, Hurt?
No, I think I got the ones I really wanted to. If I didn't bring it up, someone else did.
All right. Well, that was 2001. I'm not sure it had that many hidden gems, but honestly, I've never seen Joyride, so I might now go try and track that one down.
Hey, Joyride's fun. Check it out. Yeah. The one I would add that people would tell you it's a hidden gem, and it's absolutely not. It's a big piece of shit. Is The Majestic.
I don't know anything about that.
I agree totally. Fuck that movie.
That movie's so fucking bad.
That movie. Yeah. There has never been a movie farther up its own ass.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's it for our hidden gems of 2001. We will, I'm sure, be coming back to this until we run out of years that we've seen movies.
See, I think one year we should pick a year none of us has seen any movies in, or at least none of us was alive to, like 1953. What are the?
Oh God, that's terrible.
I like this premise.
Because also it would probably be pretty easy because back then where there weren't multiplexes, there'd be like 20 movies that come out.
Yeah,
and they were all destroyed in a fire 20 years ago. Yeah, so that's it for Hidden Gems of 2001. What have we been watching this past week, guys?
See, I did not watch much. The only new thing that I watched was Mythic Quest on Apple TV. This show's pretty. It's pretty funny. It
feels very targeted specifically at you.
Yes, it's
just by the cast alone.
Yep, 100%. It's a workplace comedy about a video game company which makes the world's largest MMORPG, which is a fantasy MMORPG at that. And to Joseph's point about the cast being, it even has a member of Critical Role. Well, a guest on Critical Role as one of the main cast members on this show. So it's a lot of fun. It's kind of dumb. I'm not going to say it has like any of the emotional weight of something. Not that the, like Parks and Rec or The Office have a lot of emotional weight, but there's no underlying emotional story for you to get attached to. It's just purely about jokes. There's a whole episode where they LARP. It's a lot of fun. I laughed quite a bit. I enjoyed it. I think it's better than Transformers.
Is this the one that the Sunny guys are in?
Yep. They wrote it, and the kind of everyone pops up at some point.
Right.
So it's worth your time. I made Kate watch Ted Lasso. I just watched that show like 2 weeks ago and did not feel old. I'm glad I watched it a second time. That's about it. Bad Batch is still good. I'm excited to see where that show's going.
You just brought up something, and this is purely a personal thing, but it has rocked my world. I found out that Mac from Sunny is 5'8". So that really means Charlie is tiny.
Very small.
I'd always thought I was Charlie's size, and like Mac and Dennis were tall, but apparently those are just mostly small people. So also, we already knew this, but this means Danny DeVito is really fucking small. I watched fucking Invincible again.
Oh, did you?
That whole show again. So I think that's a pretty that's a pretty good stamp of I liked that show. Like I can, it really holds up. It's a good show. Also, I should say I reread a comic for a show that just came out, but then decided I'm probably not going to watch the show, which is Jupiter's Legacy.
Dude, I watched 12 minutes of it and I was bored out of my fucking mind.
The comic is a thing that, like, it comes from Mark Millar, or Mark Miller is how you're supposed to pronounce it, I think, who, is a guy that have either of y'all read the World According to Garp?
No.
I swear to God, someday I'm going to find the Venn diagram of someone who knows about Mark Millar and someone who's read Their World According to Garp, and I'm going to blow their mind with this analogy of where he went wrong for me. But I won't even get into it since you guys haven't seen it. But he's a guy who, like, I don't really necessarily like all the work he does, but I like him for how he handles himself professionally and how he treats creators he works with and how he tries to do right by the comic book industry in general. So he gives a pass when his stuff's kind of shitty. Jupiter's Legacy is okay. It's really lifted up by the artist Frank Quietly, who's a fucking genius. But if you want to check out some Frank Quietly, I'd say check out All-Star Superman or Flex Mentallo first. Although, he probably gets more money out of this, so I don't know. But those comics are okay, but I don't think I'll be checking out that show based on my reread of that comic. I definitely liked it more the first time I read it. Better than Transformers, but not better enough that I'm going to watch a show about it that looks kind of goofy. It looks like Sky High.
It does look like Sky High.
I can't get on board with Fergie's ex-husband in like that gray wig and beard shit.
It looks so fucking bad.
It looked bad. And I thought, I was like, surely this isn't going to be like all the time. But at least for the first 20 fucking minutes, it's all the time.
Like, isn't that guy fucking Salt and Pepper? Couldn't he have just grown a fucking beard?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
But yeah, that's all I got.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, because I don't think we're going to talk about it on the news, and I just thought about this. I don't know if you guys watched the Forever Purge trailer that came out today, but fucking Josh Lucas is in that movie, and that guy needs more work than Home Depot commercials, and so I'm glad he's in something.
Yeah, but a Purge movie is not the best place to start.
Maybe you got to start somewhere, okay? And it really just stuck with me that Josh Lucas is getting work again. Sweet Home Alabama
versus Ferrari.
You know what? He is in that fucking movie. You're right. Home Depot commercials in that.
Purge movies make money, so good for him. They don't keep making them because they're not making money.
That's true.
That guy made Stealth, and his whole career just went straight down the toilet.
I think that happened to literally everyone who made Stealth, though.
Fucking Jamie Foxx is in that movie.
Except for Jamie Foxx. Fuck you. I feel like I've been hardcore Mandela affected about Sweet Home Alabama because in my mind, I'm sure that it was Matthew McConaughey. I'm positive. I've seen the movie since then. I know it's not, but in my brain, I see the scenes with Matthew McConaughey. So I feel like I might have merged into this universe sometime, 5 or 6 years ago, but it's fine.
I fucking love that movie. So I root for that guy all the time. I could tip a cow by myself is got to be top 3 favorite line from any fucking movie ever.
But to round out our being bad at podcasting, this week I finally watched Tenet. So we all watched it at different times and talked about it at different times.
Right.
We should have held out one more week.
One more week. It's fine. It's not worth talking that much about. Hurt, or one of you said it already, which is that there's a pretty good Bond movie in there. It should have just made the Bond movie. All the time travel stuff is just nonsense.
One thing I really do dislike about this movie is it validates Ian's lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's made specifically for Ian to hate it.
Right.
So,
It's not even just made for him to hate it. It makes Ian right. I think that's what makes me hate this movie more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Every argument Ian's ever made is now valid because Tenet exists.
Yeah, he should just bring a DVD with him everywhere and throw it down on the table. Here's my argument.
The real waste in this movie to me is that, I feel like Chris Nolan is traditionally known for making, cool movies, but I don't feel like I can't think of one that he has any, real emotional, connection in his movies. Actually connecting to human beings on an emotional level is not something that he does very well in his writing or his directing of movies, I don't think. But I feel like Elizabeth Debicki's performance of this is phenomenal. I think she's really, really good. And it was the most emotionally connected I've ever felt to a Chris Nolan character. And it's wasted in this dumb fucking movie. So I was kind of irritated about that, but it's fine. It's better than Transformers, but it's also 100% bullshit and full of its own bullshit. So whatever. I'm watching a bunch of anime going on right now. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but I will mention one that I think is, if I had to pick one to tell people to watch, even though it would be impossible to tell people to watch, it's one called Odd Taxi, which is another show that's trying to turn me into a furry. It's about maybe an alternate Tokyo, maybe not. I don't know. That's full of animals who do normal people stuff. But it's cutesy aesthetic. It's more about it's trying to pull off like this Living City vibe, where it's just you meet a bunch of different characters in a large ensemble cast who have their own shit going on and are involved in more things than you expect, mostly crime, and have like weird and unexpected interactions with each other that you wouldn't expect. And it's all based around a singular taxi driver who encounters all these different people at different points in their life. It's really good. It's way better than I feel like it should be, and way better than I feel like it looks if you didn't listen to it. But if there is one new anime that I would suggest from the spring that I've watched so far, it's Odd Taxi. And the last thing I want to talk about, which was the best thing I listened to this week, which is a thing I don't talk about that often, but I listened to, when Critical Role was off the air for forever for COVID, I went and listened to The Adventure Zone, which is another D&D podcast made by three brothers who have another podcast called My Brother and Me, which is just a straight comedy podcast, no D&D. So I've since listening to The Adventure Zone, I'm hooked on My Brother and Me. I listen to it all the time. It's the only thing I listen to when I do any chores. So I'm deep in their universe. And as part of their charity fundraising drive, they released a bonus episode of The Adventure Zone, which is their D&D podcast, which is a one-shot that's written by one of the brothers' 6-year-old daughter. And so it's a one-shot campaign that his two other brothers and his father go on together, that he dungeon masters, but on the pretty strict written instructions of what his 6-year-old laid out for the adventure. And it's fucking hilarious and bonkers. And God, I recommend it. It's for subscribers to their network. It costs $5. It's fucking worth $5. It's so good. I highly recommend it.
Cool beans.
I'm hoping that what this podcast is going to turn out to be, the secret of this podcast, is somewhere 50 or 100 episodes from now, Joseph can just come out and say, you know what, guys, I'm a furry. That's my thing. That's my bag. That's what I'm into. And I've done this.
That's the prestige, baby.
As an extended coming out. And then we can all just say, okay, good game. Hit the showers. We're done.
I feel like we could get a This American Life out of that episode.
Right.
So you did 200 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to say you like dressing like animals.
You're making a compelling case for this. We've laid the groundwork already.
I need a better Ira Glass voice.
I don't want you to do it as a gimmick. I want you to wait till you really are
Until
ready.
I really mean it. Yeah.
I don't think you're ready to admit it yet. It's in your heart. You just haven't let it out.
Very good.
Oh, this is the best content we've ever produced.
That's probably true. But I think that's it for this week. So we can leave out on a high note. I don't. Is there anything coming out in the next week or so?
I feel like there should be, but I don't know.
I feel like there is too, but I can't remember what it is. Well,
it seems like it's time for another one of those HBO things, but
that's what I'm saying. It does. In my bones, I feel like it's coming, like an old sailor. But yeah, we'll be back next week, maybe with something new, maybe with some other. One day, look, I came up with the Hidden Gems idea exclusively so that we could come back to 2003 one day, and one day we will. But I might want to hold off on it for a while.
Right.
But yeah, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, give us ideas, what you want to hear us talk about, episode ideas, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Later.